In addition to the corner brackets that I bought from Compact Camping Concepts, I bought these 4 corner brackets. These turned out to be really valuable for me. Hopefully you get a good view of those. Allowed me to mount them to the corners with very little problem, and I even put a little weld on a couple of them just to make sure they were really tight and sturdy. Especially true in the back, where I put that 2-inch receiver. Okay, and then I also welded in this piece here for my stabilizing jacks. I did that on both of the back sides. So I got a 3-point stabilizing system, 2 jacks in the back, or jack stands in the back, and then the trailer wheel, etc. Oh, so you kind of get an idea how that all works. Utilizing this system was when I went to mount my off-road lights. So these are basically camp lights. You know, we don't use them while we're pulling the trailer, of course. But when you get to camp, it really makes a world of difference to be able to flick a switch and have some pretty bright LEDs pop on. And the really cool thing about this is you just reutilize some of the existing bolt holes in the bracket itself. See, there's another bolt back under here. So it really worked out nice. So if you're going to do it, that's how I would recommend doing it. I mounted this one underneath because when the tent extended, it gets a little shady at night. These 2 lights on the ends don't reach underneath as well. So that 3rd light just really helps light it up all the way around. Okay, so we're going to give a demonstration of it lifting now. So this momentary off-on switch here, that's the switch you have to hold down to fully extend it. You can stop it at any point by just taking your finger off. See, I can stop it. I could lower it back at this point, but I'm going to raise it all the way up. All right, so there at the end, you could hear the different actuators turning off and on. When they hit their maximum height, you know, they have an internal stop, which takes the power off of them. So that's pretty cool. All right, so it's fully extended at its 18 inches now, and the actuators run at about 0.4 inch per second, I think it said. So it takes about 30 seconds to fully raise it or fully lower it, which is, you know, pretty quick actually, I thought. So for everything you're getting. The wire looms are for the solar and the other wiring for the lights. You can see the solar is connected up here, comes down through this wiring loom, goes into the battery box. That's a lighting wiring loom over there. And I think the CB antenna is in one of these as well, but they're not commingled with the electric. For the solar, I did a Renogy 100-watt solar panel. Got the adjustable bracket. As you can see, it'll go from full horizontal to fully vertical, depending on how I adjust it. I've only got it set up or down with the 1 bracket on it because I'm just in the driveway. And that's really all there is to it. I thought it was going to be more complicated. It was a lot of work, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. And the really happiest point that I had was when it actually started to all work. So, you know, got all the power hooked up to it, got the actual linear actuators installed on it. Before it was just kind of sitting on that, because you know, you build it out, you put it all together, and then you put those actuators on there and hook it up. And I had my fingers crossed for a couple minutes, but it turned out really well. Better idea of the underside, what the framing looked like. One of the things I did not have was the dimensions of the rooftop tent. So as I built the frame out for that, you can see I used the existing brackets SmittyBilt provided. However, because I didn't have the exact measurements, the brackets would not work on this side. You can see them over there. But because that corner from the compact camping concepts, that bracket, and this one here, it was just a little too wide to incorporate that type of bracket. So I put on my thinking hat and I reutilized one of the existing holes in the bracket and utilized the hardware from the SmittyBilt tent and had it lined up perfect, front and back, and then I just tightened it down so it's not going anywhere. Okay, in this particular view, we've got the trailer lowered, excuse me, the rooftop tent lowered as far as it'll go. So it's at the bottom of its 18-inch span. You can see I do have room, excuse me, under the tent. I'd say there's a good 3 or so, 4, maybe 4 inches there. Okay. So if I come back down here, you can see the length of the vertical bar. Okay. So it goes from the CB antenna all the way down to the bracket. And I opted to cut it right here. Okay. And that gave me just enough room to where I could mount my linear actuator on the top and get the full stroke. I went with 18-inch linear actuators because I thought I needed that much lift to fully open the top of the trailer. So I went with 4, one on each corner, because of, once again, the design. I've seen some people do, you know, one on each side, like over by the wheel wells, but because of the design and how my trailer top opens, I had to do them on the corners. When I did the 4, I put them, hooked them up to my solar system, and I've not had a problem with them being out of sync because I put the switch I put on is one that you have to hold to either lower or raise. Some people said, "Why'd you do that?" And I was like, well, because if I get them out of alignment just a little bit, I can sit there and hold them. And based on the design of the linear actuator, it's got a built-in stop. So the ones that come down and may be a little bit out of sync by 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, or whatever, they'll stop automatically. And then it allows me to bring the remaining ones down so that, as you can see here, they're flush. You can see that line right there. Oh, I can't get my finger in there. See, right there, it's flush. It makes it a world of difference because you want them to get as flush as possible. So you can see right there. Hopefully you can see it. Okay. Okay, and this is what it kind of looks like with the top open. You see the trailer holds a humongous amount of stuff. Coolers, gas cans, cooking utensils, just about everything you can think of. It's got internal light here. I just put a little battery powered LED in. Does a pretty good job. Get my finger out of the way. Okay. And you can see I've got plenty of clearance. Even the light that I put in that points down, Doesn't interfere with anything. And yeah, works good. Of course, once we get to camp, we either keep the tent very high until we unload, then we can lower it down, or really it's our option is what we want to do. So the wiring for the linear actuators, they come down here, and then I ran them under the trailer on the both back sides, and then in the front they're right here, and they come in and they go to the battery box. They do that on both sides.